think.
Hi folks, Rich here from Broken Arrow, and I'm with Jay. How are you, mate?
Good, good.
Folks, I've asked Jay to run through the putting together or the assembly of an arrow, start to finish. But first of all, Jay, can you explain perhaps to the folks at home and to me, of course, what's the benefit in actually assembling your own arrow?
All right, okay, well, once you start shooting, obviously you'll arrive at what you're shooting at. Like you're shooting at probably 50 pounds, so that straight away dictates the spine of the arrow that you need to shoot with. So the spine of an arrow is the flexing strength. It's all the factories around the world, different brands and things that will test an arrow, and it's a machine, I don't know the specifications, but it's two clamps, and they put pressure on the center and push it, and they measure how far it flexes.
So it's the tolerance.
Strength,
tolerance
and flexing strength,
yeah, right.
And the more pounders you shoot, the less flex you want. You want a stiffer arrow, basically, that can take the force of the thrust of the bow. So we have here like a fiberglass arrow, which is like a kid's arrow, really. This is the sort of arrow you'd buy when you buy, a toy recurve bow. They'll come with a set of these. These are only good for probably 20 pound maximum. Right. They're very flexible.
Got
it. And you miss and hit a tree or something, it'll probably shatter and break.
And I guess made out of fiberglass, then the tolerances under the, how straight that arrow would be, it would all come into it.
They're made to a cost, yeah. Like I said, there's $50 for a set of 10. So, and look, you spin this and it's just wobbly as, whereas you buy a more better quality arrow, like this is an Eastern Powerfly, you spin that up, that's probably got a 3/1000th of an inch tolerance.
Yeah.
So
and you can certainly feel the quality
straighter and truer. They all weigh the same, like from one end of the shaft to the other, the weight stays consistent, whereas like a fiberglass one, you might have thicker layers of fiberglass here and thinner there. They're cheaply made, so they're not very well balanced arrows.
So this would be for an archer now that's obviously got his form right, he's getting a little bit more into being an advanced archer, and this is going to help him group and get consistency with his shots, right?
Certainly, once you get the right arrows to suit what you're shooting, it could shrink that group down dramatically, but until you get to a point where you are shooting consistently, it doesn't really matter what arrow you're shooting, I guess.
Right, so this is something for the advanced archer.
Yep.
Great, okay. Where do we start, mate? Where do we start?
All right, well, what you've done here is gone down to the shop and said, right, I'm shooting 50-pound compound and my door length is this, and they've gone, oh, well, you'll need 340s, I think we ended up with. Yep, so they've given you these arrows.
And that's how they come with a set of arrows. It's got a knocking point on the back. That's not glued in.
They come with so they come, like most arrows nowadays, they come with a knocking point and a little outsert collar, or depending on the configuration of the arrow. But yours do. They're not glued in. They're just there. So that's for us to glue in.
Right.
Your shafts, and they'll provide you with your choice of vanes.
Yeah, well, I said that I was shooting primarily indoor, and I'm going to be shooting target. So this was the fletch that they recommended.
Yeah, it's sort of a middle, exactly what you said there. The difference is that indoor, you're only shooting a short distance, generally 18-20 metres.
Yep.
And in that case, you'd normally put a larger vane on, like these blazer vanes here, just to help settle the arrow down in flight quicker than it needs to over a long distance. If I was shooting target, well, we haven't really got any target fletches here, but I'd have a much smaller and slimmer fletch, because if you're shooting 70 metres or something like that, less drag, keeps the arrow going fast, and it doesn't need it's got more time in the air to get itself straight. So small vane will do that job.
And if you're shooting indoors, you're not having to worry about having to account for crosswind, I guess.
That's another thing,
I notice that a lot of the hunters, their arrows have much larger vanes to compensate, obviously, for the weight of their broadhead as well. Okay, all right, mate. So first things first, we've got the bare shaft. What should we do? What's the first step?
Well, these are carbon arrow, so they'll even from the factory they'll be all clean, but they'll have a sort of a release agent on there, a residue on there, and fingerprints from us doing this. So what you need to do is clean your arrow, and to glue your vane on, you'll need to clean the back edge of your vane before you glue it on there.
All right, I can do that.
But we're going to actually put a wrap on there.
Okay.
So same deal. We will clean this up. The back of this will be clean once we take it off. We'll stick that on where we want it to be. Roll it round. So then we've got a nice clean surface there.
So just explain that to me. The reason that we're putting that wrap on is because that the glue doesn't adhere very well to the...
That's right, Well, normally we've used like a boning fletch type glue, which is a rubberized glue.
Yeah.
Doesn't adhere real to carbon arrows, to an aluminium.
No problem.
Like the proverbial to a blanket.
Yep.
So what I do is put a vinyl wrap on the arrow, so then you're turning that from a carbon surface into a plastic surface.
Got it.
And the fletch type glue will bond beautifully to that, so a plastic fletch glues to a plastic surface.
Right, makes sense. Makes sense. Give me the method, mate. Let me give that a clean.
All right. So you want a bit of a rag there.
And I noticed, what are some of the bits of equipment that you're going to need if someone was to do this? Obviously, this is what they call a fletching.
Yeah, this is a fletching jig.
Yeah.
There's umpteen different brands of this. This is a boning brand one. Multiply adjustable. Like I said, when you buy a pre-made arrow, if you'll notice that all the fletches are straight and parallel to the arrow shaft. So because they're designed to suit any purpose, what we want to do is to be able to offset that fletch on an angle so that when it leaves the arrow it starts to spin. Helps to speed up that stability process. And keeps the arrow flying through.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
and that's built
we
in
can
the
set
offset?
that. We can adjust that in here just by adjusting these and setting that to whatever thickness arrow you have and how much offset you want either side. I've got this set at probably 1 degree either side.
Right.
So you've got sort of a 2 degree offset.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's nice and clean, mate.
Yep. All right. Well, the trick is we're just going to do one to start with.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. These wraps, I'll just put that over there. We've already done one previously, so when we put this one here, we want to match exactly where it is. Doesn't really matter, I guess, but we want to make them all look the same. It looks pretty and more professionally built. So I will just put that one there, so it gives us a guide.
Okay.
Slide that up. Make sure that insert.
It's amazing just what came off there when I cleaned it, isn't it? Hey?
Yeah. And the same goes, like, because these are all cut. I imagine they make these probably twice or 3 times as long as cut. We make 3 arrows out of a tube, and there'll be all residue inside there. So when we come to the time of gluing we don't have to glue the knocks in because they just push in.
I see.
But the points, the point inserts, we'll have to clean the inside of that, swab it out so that it's got a nice good surface to glue to. But yeah, make sure that's pushed on the back there because sometimes they can be half on, so we can match that up.
Okay. It looks like that's about 2 or 3 mil from the collar.
Yep. Okay. Yep. So we'll go this way around, and there's a bit of a trick to doing these and keeping them nice and square. And the best way is to lay that down, flat down on the table.
Right.
Get sticky fingers off of it. Bring your arrow up. Line it up so the edge is parallel. I'm going to be about 2 millimeters, so about there. And just make sure it's parallel to the shaft. And just stick it down. Right, so we've got a little flag there already.
Yep.
And I just run my hand along the part where it's stick. Roll it around and just keep laying it down. So there's no air, no bubbles underneath there. Just roll and slide it along. And the trick is to make sure that you have it parallel to start with. So when it finally does lay over on itself, it's all nicely lined up.
That's a nice neat job.
Yeah. So we might get one for you to have a go.
All right, yeah, please.
I've done quite a few of these.
I bet you have.
Yep. All right. That clean.
So still leave that knocking point on.
Yeah.
Give it a bit of a clean up. Look at that. It's amazing, isn't it? All right.
So we're just using methylated spirits on there. I usually use that or isopropyl alcohol. Some people used to use acetone for like the aluminium arrows. It's no good for carbon arrows, so keep the acetone away from the carbon surface.
Okay. There's a bit of a trick involved in getting that to stick down.
It is, yeah, it's very sticky.
Okay. All right. And
stand back so you've got a bit of room.
So we lined that top edge up first.
Yep. Leave your 2 mil sort of gap there.
There we go. That looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Push it on so I got that flag there.
Yep.
And then work on that inside edge first.
That's it.
Actually, that goes on quite easy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And if you take your time, you can avoid getting any air bubbles or anything in there.
Right. Yeah, just a little roll each time, just push down. So I'll normally prepare my full set of 12 arrows, wrap them, get them all ready, but we'll skip that for the moment.
Sure. Okay, great.
Right. Okay, so these are still full length. we'll worry about cutting them down later on. We're working on the back end of this at the moment. So, like I said, I've got this set up. I don't know how to explain this. This is a jig that's set up for 3 fletches. You can get ones that's set up for 4.
Okay.
So it has a little groove in there that the knot clicks into. Right, it sits in there. And this has 3 clicks, so when you turn around, there's where one vein goes, turn around again, there's another one.
Got it.
And there's another
one.
And
that ensures they're all going to be common.
They're all identical then.
Got it, okay.
And one of the tricks that I like to do is, I'll start off at a particular point.
Yep.
I might even like line these up with the brand name, so I'll put one fletch on there, so then we'll do that with every arrow, they match up aesthetically. You can go to much more lengths with like testing the weak spine of the arrow, which way it's going to bend, and start to match them all up that way. But this is your first set of arrows, you're shooting indoor.
Absolutely, mate.
They're going to become fairly much more accurate than what you were using, so we're not going to the extreme length that you can go to.
Competition, boys, I guess.
Yeah, well, I do. I test the spine on them all, weigh them all so they're all the same, all that sort of thing. So I'll line that up.
Yep.
Right, so we'll just leave that there. Right, so what we want to do is put it in the clamp here. We have to work out first where we want it placed on the arrow, so let's take a bit of a guess. That's probably about right, matches up with your fletching. Sometimes when you put that wrap on, you might put the wrap, a centimetre down, and you don't want the fletch past that. So
that's right.
So we've just making it so that it's nice and even at the back of
so
the
that only goes in one position, this does it?
It's once we lock that in, so we lock the arrow down in the bottom, and this is on a magnet, we click it in, and bump it back to the bottom, push it down and clamp it on there.
Got it, okay, good.
Alright, so all we need to do is probably, we've got second large, there's no actually measurements on here, but the second large mark, so we'll use that as our reference. Pretty good, probably a pretty good spot.
Yep.
Okay, so like I said, we clean the arrow, and we put the wrap on. The wrap's clean anyway, but we need to just clean the back edge of this vein. This is a Boning brand vein, and they say that you don't have to clean these ones, but I still do anyway.
Yeah.
Just to ensure you're handling them, putting greasy fingerprints on there. Okay, so we're going to use a super glue type glue on this at the moment because we.
Right, but there is specialty
This is quicker and easier to do, a fletch type glue, you use that, like I said, it's I don't know if you relate to Tarzan's grip.
Yeah, sure.
It's a rubber clear cement.
That's right, it gets quite
so you put that on there and clamp that on. When you do this with that type of glue, it's going to need like at least a full minute to sort of semi-set before you can remove the clamp and dial it around to the next one. So it can take you, probably 5 minutes an arrow to fletch.
Yeah, right.
An arrow when you got 12 of them, it's quite a bit of a procedure.
Yeah, that's a bit of
couple of
investment.
So, but we use this like Loctite 406 super glue. Let's see if this is going to come out of here. I just want a small little bead along there.
Yeah,
just covering that whole surface of the fletch. Line it up, push it down. You can give it a little gentle little squeeze.
Just
down
make
there
sure
so
that little, I notice that the fletches have actually got like a little channel in there. So just make sure that marries in seeks to the shaft.
So the glue will probably pool in the little valley there mainly when you put it on. But I tend to coat that whole surface. But if it is just in the valley, when you push that down, it'll squash it out to cover the whole surface.
So we're going to leave that for about a minute.
Oh, well, this is super glue, so it'll be pretty much dry by now. Put a lid on that too while we're waiting.
Alright.
So we can take it off. Yeah.
So
pull that up.
Clamp comes off.
Right. Now, when you rotate this, you don't want to rotate it clockwise into the.
Otherwise you're going to hit the mechanism.
It back the other way.
Yeah.
So click.
Great.
We might just pop that out and just check our little angle. So you can see that.
You can see the offset.
Only a small offset, but that's all we need. I'll pop that back in. Make sure it's in the groove. Oops. And another way.
Right, okay, so that was putting it into the holder for the second
line.
Large mark.
Yep.
Set it in there. Give that a quick wipe.
Wipe over.
Oops, sorry. want to make sure that the clamp and then push down to get that spacing correct, and now home onto the arrow, just pushing that down. Yep. That's quite easy to do, isn't it?
You just got to watch when you squeeze it, that if you squeeze it too hard, it'll want to slip off the edge of that round surface. So just a gentle little push down so that it compresses down. So count to 10.
And off with the holder, and rotating towards me. That'll stop it from hitting the jig itself.
Yep. And number 3.
Number 3. So tell me the benefits or reasons that people may choose to shoot with a 4 fletched arrow versus a 3?
Oh, just to catch more air, I guess.
So creating more drag, perhaps for outdoor situation?
They're tending to do it a lot with indoor shooting nowadays.
Okay.
Because you've only got a short distance between when the arrow leaves the bow to the target, the quicker you can get that arrow straight, the better the result you're going to get. So hence why they shoot bigger vanes indoor.
Right.
And then just make sure that's sitting down in there. Yep. And all four vanes. But I think once you start to get into 4 vanes, you can probably start to get clearance problems depending on your arrow rest. Right. You probably nearly have to be shooting a drop away rest for 4 vanes.
Yes. Okay.
There we go.
That looks great. Terrific. Yeah. All right. So now I guess the next part would be cutting this to the correct length.
Yep.
How do we know what's the correct length for an arrow?
All right. Well, there is a guideline. Is that what we do is put this in your bow.
Yep.
Knock it on, draw it all the way back, and we mark where the front of the riser is to the arrow.
Okay.
Right. So where you'll have your arrow rest to the riser. Draw this back. And so much. You mark that, and that's a good guide. That's a perfect length to suit your draw length.
Okay. So we should go to the range, get the bow.
Yep.
Pull it back. Okay. Terrific.
I'll get a pen to mark it.
All right, mate. So I put my release load on, everything as per normal. Yep. Okay. So hang on. And I guess this is where having someone to help you, like a friend, just to be able to do the marking and everything makes it a lot easier job. Although I suppose you would possibly even have some arrows already that you could mark and size.
Yeah, if you've got an old set of arrows, it's probably the length.
Yeah. Okay, great. Alrighty. Put them through.
Remember, it's got no point in it, so we don't want to shoot it.
No. Okay. Okay, just do it straight back. And you're marking that to where, Jay?
Just the front of the riser. Line on there.
Okay,
about 2 inches
down.
to take off there. Yep.
So, yeah, about 2 inches, that's about right. Yep. Okay.
So that's just a general rule for getting an arrow length to suit whoever's shooting it, basically. But there's lots of variations on when you start to get the high level of whether you want them longer or shorter, because it affects how much they flex and how the spine and how they fly. Lots of different things. There's fine tuning of things, but we're just doing the basics for you, and we'll still get a great result.
So back to the workbench.
So we're over here with Hugh. We've got our little arrow cutting rig here. That's something that you can do this part of your making your arrows at home, but cutting them down really needs a special tool to do it. What we have here. So I'll hand this over to Hugh. He's got our mark there where we want to cut it to.
So we're going to use our specialty archery jig today to chop down these arrows. With the jig, simply put the nock into the base of this. Get that mark lined up with the blade, so I need to loosen this off. I'll adjust it back. I'm going to cut just a bit behind that mark, locking it down. So that should be all good. Now it's going to get a bit noisy. I've got to turn our exhaust fan on and the blade on, so bear with me. So what I did there was, when I popped the arrow on, I brought the arrow slowly towards the blade, twisting it as I did, and bringing it in tight, and slowly pulling it back. So that just helps get a nice flat finish on that. But we've got another tool again that we can use to get that perfectly square, which we'll run through in a little bit.
So we're pretty much on the home stretch now?
Yeah, so we fletched it, we've cut it down.
Yep.
As Hugh mentioned, we've got this little arrow squaring device. So that's just a little, like a diamond disc on the front there.
A little abrasive pad.
And it's nice and square, so there's a couple of grooves. Let's move this out of the way so I can do it. Just slide the arrow into the grooves there, up against the diamond disc there.
Yep.
Just put a little bit of pressure on it. Spin it up. Right, that makes sure that we're perfectly square on the arrow, so when you put the point in there, it mates up perfectly right around.
Nice and square.
And you know, if it's gonna punch you nice and square.
And I guess that would be good advice to be doing the same for the knocking point end, is that right?
Yep. Do the same for the knocking point end, particularly the knocking point end, because if that's not cut square, can you imagine if it's cut on it? All of this knock, it'll still go in there, but as soon as all that force gets pushed against there, it's going to want to kick out of the way. So the square they are, the better.
Right. Okay.
So we'll probably pull these out and do that anyway. We should have done that before. But yeah, so we're just squaring that up, and that just deburrs that edge too from that little cutting disc if there's any burrs in there. Nice and smooth and clean.
That's looking pretty good.
And then before we put the point in, we'll have to swab out the dust that's been in there from the cut.
Okay, so just use a bit of napkin.
We've got some
ear cleaning buds,
buds
whatever's going to fit in there.
There you go, a bit of paper. Yeah.
Right. So the type of tip that I'm going to put on, obviously for indoor, is going to be a target style tip.
Yeah.
What are the different types of tips as far as? Obviously there's hunting, but what's the benefits of having?
Well, what we're putting in yours is we're putting an insert in there.
Yeah.
So that'll go in the shaft. That'll get glued in there with a low temperature hot melt glue.
Yeah.
And that enables you to swap the points out. You can screw in this. If you want to use these arrows then for hunting, you can screw in a broadhead.
Yep.
But that's a bullet type head that mainly used for target shooting.
Yep.
Field points, which you can use for target points, but
yeah, they look familiar.
Good for 3D and field shooting, that sort of thing.
And different weights available in the tips.
Yep. So you can get all different weights, and once you get into some fine tuning of your arrows, you want to adjust that tip weight so that it matches the spine of the arrow and the length of the arrow and the force of your bow, so everything works beautifully together. But
I noticed you did a bit of math before, and you come up with what roughly 100 grain tip was going to suit.
Which is what these ones are. So we'll use those.
Great.
And if we wanted later on, we can swap them out for like 80 grains, 125, whatever.
So we can still tune it
this way, even though we've really only approximated the length. So, but you can adjust it with the tip weight.
As well. Okay, great. Alrighty. So next step.
Yeah. So we've cleaned out the inside of that shaft. Something going on outside there. I've got my little blowtorch here, so I'll just light that up. Right, so I've got my little blowtorch going, and the insert. Now this, when we've got to heat this up, so we want to hold it with a pair of pliers. We don't want to use our fingers.
That makes a lot of sense.
Beyond that point, so I'll just heat that up, crank it up a little bit. Doesn't take a lot.
And is this just what most of us would just use in a hot glue gun, like
pretty much. You can pretty much use anyone. What you want is one, if you bend that stick, it's very flexible. Some you get a fairly stiff glue. You want a flexible glue because that'll help with like when the arrow impacts with the target.
Do they typically call that a low melting point?
Low melting point glue. Yep. Okay. Right, so I've heated that up. Just give it a nice coating around there. Just reheat that again just to make sure it's nice and soft.
I guess if you're using super glue at this point, you'd have to be super quick, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, that's right. But you've got a fair bit of time with this stuff, so get that in there. Nice hard surface, push it down. That's in there. Now you can either let that cool down, or you can submerge it in a cup of water just to instantly cool it down. But by the time you set up and do all 12 arrows, the first ones are cooled down. That'll still hold a bit of heat there.
Will.
Yep.
And then the tip just goes straight in there?
Yep. and we'll probably want to clean off a little bit, or once it
One
does cool down, that glue around the edge there will harden up. You can just run your fingernail around and peel it off, but it's still a little bit tacky at the moment.
Great. All right. Well, folks, I hope that's been an interesting clip to watch. Certainly I learned a few things there. Thanks very much, Joe.
Yeah.
All right.
So you'll be set now. You can do the rest of them.
Yeah, so I'll see you in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, folks. See you next time.
See you later.